Dramatic raids on the Australian Workers' Union yesterday have created a political firestorm, with the union calling them a grubby political tactic. The raids are part of an investigation into political donations made when Labor leader Bill Shorten was in charge of the union. Nine's chief political editor Chris Uhlmann and the Australian Workers' Union Secretary Dan Walton join us now. First to Chris in Canberra. Good morning, Chris. The union has labelled the raids a witch hunt. Either way, these allegations can be protracted and damaging, right?
Oh, they certainly and they can be for both sides, Carl. Of course, to the Labor Party, the man that's in the gun here is Bill Shorten, because he ran the AWU back when those donations were made, $175,000 worth a decade ago. Now, all that's being investigated is whether or not they were properly authorised at the time, and the only reasons for the raids is because the Registered Organisations Commission believed it had reasonable grounds to believe that evidence was being destroyed at the time. So that's the chain of events. But going back beyond that, the person who gave the reference to the Registered Organisation Commission was the Employment Minister, Michaelia Cash. So you can see a direct link back to the government, Carl, and you can understand why the Labor Party would believe that these organisations are being improperly used. The government will argue, of course, they're all independent, and the unions will say this is a witch hunt. OK, just quickly, will it stick on Bill Shorten at all? Well, there's been a long series of things aimed at Bill Shorten over a long time, Carl, including a royal commission. He sat for 2 days in the stands and answered questions over these sorts of things. It hasn't stuck so far, and the danger in all of this is that this does blow back on the government. It will be an ugly day in Parliament today. Chris, good to see you. Thank you for your time this morning. The Union Secretary, Dan Walton, joins us now. Dan, good morning to you.
Morning, Carl.
Has the AWU ever destroyed or tampered with documents pertaining to this or other investigations?
No, absolutely not, Carl. We've been operating for 131 years. We've had various Conservative governments investigate us through trade union royal commissions, through various lines of inquiry, and not once in our entire history have we ever been accused of not fully cooperating and not supplying the documents required. OK, but in terms of just that question, have you destroyed documents pertaining to this investigation or any other investigation? No, absolutely not, Carl. I think it's quite extraordinary claims that are being made, and, you know, we'll see the true test of time when we get in front of a court, where these claims have come from and whether there's any validity to them. But donations to the group Get Up were made when Mr Shorten headed the national and Victorian branches, approved under union rules, were they? Yeah, absolutely they were, mate. But it's over 10 years ago, right? Yeah. And this is the strange thing for me. Some 10 years ago, the union sat down and decided that we were going to make a donation to a new organisation that was going to be trying to pursue the interests of our members on a range of fronts. I wasn't around at the time then, but I certainly know that we had the founders address our executive, we had the conversation and we approved it. This isn't a question of whether or not the donation was made, this is a question of whether or not we filled in the paperwork correctly. And we ended up with 32 AFP police officers barging down the door yesterday at a time when the head of the AFP is saying we don't have enough resources to invest terrorism, to investigate cocaine rings. It's extraordinary misuse of police resources for such a trivial matter. OK, you weren't there, but you know the approval was given, the approval was correct. Is the paperwork still around? Yeah, we supplied all the paperwork through, and the strange thing was, Carl, we were already cooperating with the Registered Organisations Commission before this. On Friday, they said they were going to be launching an inquiry, and yesterday we were meeting with the lawyers when we got word that there were media camped out the front of our building. 15 minutes later, we get a phone call from the Registered Organisations Commission that says, oh, hey, heads up, we're about to issue a warrant and conduct a raid on your office. It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary how we ended up in these circumstances. OK, Bill Shorten also donated $25,000 in union funds to his own campaign in 2007. Was that all above board? Yeah, 100%, mate. And I think we've got to distinguish the difference between Bill donating this versus the AWU, right? The AWU executive, which is made up, it's our board of directors, sat down and made a decision that we want to support Bill Shorten to go into Parliament to be able to represent our members' interests. We approved the donation then, everything is above board. OK, at the end of the day, how do you think all this does sit with your members, though? I think people are concerned, but I've got to be honest, Carl, one of the most amazing things that's happened over the last couple of hours since this has all unfolded is not only support across the entire union movement, community movement, but in terms of the business community. We've had so many people reach out just going, this is absolutely absurd. Like, what country do we live in when this is normal practice now? So I'm quite comfortable knowing that we're representing our members' interests. I'm quite comfortable to stand up here today to be able to say everything was above board, and this is shameful from the Registered Organisations Commission in terms of what they undertook yesterday.
Just finally, there are some in Labor who can see there's an issue here somewhere. Do you concede there's an issue at all?
No, I don't, Carl.
Okay. Good to talk to you today. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Carl.
Meantime.